Oh my goodness, this really made me laugh. Hello, my royal lovelies. Welcome back to the channel. What I want to talk about today, I'm afraid, is a few murky stories. Of course, about Harry and Meghan. Oh, they couldn't stay away, could they, from everywhere? The PR Sussex press machine is in full rotation, my loves. You can just imagine Meghan. She's there with the handle and the crank, and she's turning it around furiously from her Montecito mansion. Maybe the crank is somewhere positioned where the chickens are. I don't know. Anyway, I can sense little monster paws all over this next story. So without further ado, let's get into it. By the way, I am feeling a little croaky. My voice is kind of going a little bit. So do excuse the gravelly tones. Ooh, yes. Maybe I'll make some gravelly music. So this story comes courtesy of Harry and Megzy Baby's friend, Bryony Gordon. Now, I remember Bryony Gordon. The first time she came into my consciousness was, I think, 2016, 2017, when Harry did the interview with her on mental health. Yes, I have been around in the royal sphere for that long because I remember reporting on it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember at the time making a video saying that that I thought it was good that the royals were talking about their feelings and being more open, and that it was helping mental health issues. However, I did urge a word of caution about it because I thought, if you open the floodgates a little bit too much, it's a bit like, lifting the curtain that the press are going to want more and more and more. So I was a little bit cautious of it, but I am aware that it did do a lot of good for mental health issues, particularly around loss and in particular around a child losing a parent. So it was also the first time that we really got an inkling into Harry's mental state, which was quite key and important because it kind of sets the scene for the next period in Harry's life. I mean, once that floodgate was opened, he wanted to talk more and more and more openly. But like I say, there are some dangers in that because the more you reveal, the more the press want to know. And I think that sometimes releasing that kind of information into the world, not just talking about it privately with family and friends and loved ones and people that you trust in real life, Harry felt like he needed to broadcast it to the world. And I'm not quite sure that he got back from that what he thought he was going to get. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, that's where I first came aware of Bryony Gordon. And it was quite interesting that she managed to actually get him to open up in the way that he did. So she has written a piece for the Daily Mail. I'm not going to read all of it, but she says about Harry, well, the headline, I'll read that. What my friends, Prince Harry and Meghan, are really like, reveals Bryony Gordon. Well, we'd all like to know. Well, I think we all know what they're really like. Who has been to their house, and she was given a pot of their homemade jam even earlier than anyone else. Apparently, she left it in a taxi. Right, so she says, there's a strange thing that happens when you make the acquaintance of someone who happens to be very famous. People want to know what they are like, but only if it tallies with the version of the famous person that they have created in their own head. I mention that because 8 years I became friends with Prince Harry. And when I tell them my honest opinion that he's kind, funny, and pretty damn normal, all things considered, I often see a flash of disappointment cloud their faces, followed quickly by words to the effect of, well, you would say that, you know him, as if knowing someone should disqualify you from having a trusted opinion about them. I kind of agree / not agree. And the thing is, when you are friends with someone and you are giving an opinion about a high-profile person and you know that your words have repercussions, not only in the media, of which, by the way, she's trying to make money from this, but also with the people that she's kind of, she's hanging on, if you like. She's a hanger-on to Harry and Meghan's coattails. So she doesn't want to burn her own, ends with them. But she also wants to cash in and sell some money. She's milking the royal gravy train for all it's worth. So I do agree that you can have an honest opinion about your own friends, but it can also be biased. And I think that is important to remember. Bryony Gordon has a lot to lose by slagging off Harry and Meghan, by talking disparagingly about them. It risks enraging Harry's wrath. And we all know that one thing that Harry is like his mother, and I think William is a little bit too, they can hold a grudge and they can sort of give you the silent treatment. They can cut you off. And they inherited that trait from their mother. It wasn't one of her best traits. Diana, I love Diana to bits. I wish she was still here. I don't think we'd still be going through all of this if she was here. I think a lot of the issues in the royal family that we see today started in 1997 when Diana lost her life, to be quite honest. Maybe a little bit before that as well, with the wars of the Waleses. So, yeah, Diana was lovely, but she did have a few negative traits as well, as we all do. We all have those little demons. And Harry and William have inherited that. So Bryony is trying to be careful. She's trying to walk a fine line between pimping out her royal connections, making some money, and also sort of satisfying the Sussex PR machine, which is also, I think, what this is. This is an attempt by Harry and Meghan to get their friends to start talking about them in a positive way, trying to put positive spin. She says, I wanted to write this column about what I know of Prince Harry because as he prepares to turn 40 this weekend, I've heard a lot of fairly negative things about him, character assassinations that bear no resemblance to the man I've come to count as a friend. The one who cares passionately about the injured veterans and who's done more to change the perceptions of mental health in this country. Well, I think she's forgetting that they set up the heads together with William and Catherine, so it wasn't just Harry's solo effort. She's glossing over the fact that Harry pimped out the veterans that he says he's supporting with that Netflix documentary. So he pimped them out, and all that went into his own personal coffers. That wasn't to the Archewell Foundation, that was to Archewell Productions, which is their money-making arm of their operations. So he pimped, so that's how much he loves his war veterans and cares passionately about them, only if it makes him money, my loves. Anyway, she rambles on about how she got the interview, blah, 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 and I can't be bothered to read the rest. I think she is biased, to be quite honest. And I think that is where this is coming from. And I think the Sussex PR machine is working overtime. Meghan is peddling furiously. She's there. She's got her feet in a giant wooden bucket of strawberries or lemons, and she's squashing them furiously as she hatches her next plan to take over America and take over Britain and take over the world with her jam. Interesting story, though, about Bryony and the jam. So apparently back in 2020, Meghan's been making this homemade jam for a while. So it seems like it's a bit of a pastime of hers, maybe toe squishing all the jam. Maybe she loves it. Strawberry jam. Anyway, not her strawberry jam, Highgrove strawberry jam, please. So she gave Bryony a glass jar of, I presume it was a glass jar, of jam. And Bryony left it in the taxi. So somewhere floating around is an early sample of American Riviera Orchard. Now, while I was away on holiday, the story came out that Meghan is getting into a few difficulties with her brand American Riviera Orchard, with all the patents and all that kind of thing. Apparently, she's having difficulty with the American Riviera Orchard. Apparently, you can't designate a location to it because it's a well-known name and you can't sort of take that. So she's having issues with that. Then there was issues like the finer details of what she's trying to trademark in terms of what she can produce, like the wooden spoons and whatever it is. So she's having to go back to the drawing board a little bit. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get around the name. That would be a bit of a flop, wouldn't it? And a bit of an embarrassment if, remember that big massive fanfare launch and then sending out all that jam under American Riviera Orchard, Arrow, and then she has to change it completely. Yes. It's just like Megsy Baby. She's running before she can walk. She ran before she could walk when she joined the royal family. And I do think, to be fair, she did have some of the credentials that you need to be a working royal. I do think that working royals would actually make very good actors and actresses. And therefore, by the flip side, actors and actresses would make very good working royals. And that's because there is a certain element of performance when you do royal duties. You're on show, you're performing, you're sort of learning lines. So it helps if you are a really good orator. So I think Meghan had the, everything that it took to be a working royal, as did a lot of people thought that as well in Britain. But she took on too much too soon, as is Megsy Baby's way, and it bit her on the butt. She didn't take time to get to know the customs and Britain. Although we speak the same language as the USA, of course, the USA derived the language. It's English. We speak English. We have a shared language, although there are some differences. But culture-wise, there is a big difference. There's a very big difference. And within that culture, you've got the royal family culture. And I just don't think she took enough time to get to know everything, and in particular, her place within it. And I think when she did find out her place within it, and that is that she was, second or third fiddle, she didn't like it. And that's when she started to really ramp up the exploitation of Harry's mental health. So I hope Bryony Gordon knows what she's doing, because, girl, get that Harry and Megsy Baby coin. You exploit them for all it's worth, because believe me, they have exploited enough people along the way. But I disagree with you, Bryony. I do think you do have a friend bias. You most definitely have a lot to lose from all of this scenario. So, continuing on the Harry and Meghan theme for this episode, Prince Harry has revealed his thoughts on turning 40 and how the Duke plans to celebrate his birthday with family and inner circle. So as we know, Harry is turning 40 over the weekend. He is set to inherit what is rumoured to be about £8 million as part of the late Queen Mother's legacy. So not Queen Elizabeth, but Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Of course, she put into trust, I think, a third of her wealth. So there's a little bit of confusion about the fact that she was in debt. So she wasn't in debt in terms of that she didn't have the money to pay off the debt. She went into her overdraft. So when people often commonly they talk about the Queen Mother being in debt and owing money, it was her overdraft she went into. I have no idea why she went into her overdraft when she had enough cash assets to just simply pay it off. I have no idea. But anyway, she went into her overdraft. And that is what was cleared when, obviously, she passed away. But in the 90s, she set up a trust for her living grandchildren, which, of course, excludes the ones that were born after her passing. So Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, do not get a cut of this money. It was living grandchildren at the time of the will. And I've spoken before about Princess Anne. Princess Anne has nothing to do with this will. She's not the executor. There is no evidence to support this from the time at all. This is just completely fabricated, made up stories that have been put out on social media to get clicks and views and shares and all the rest of it. So be careful, a warning of who you listen to. That is completely unbased. Anyway, Harry is rumoured to get the lion's share of that grandchildren money because he was expected to be a working royal for the rest of his life. And of course, he was not going to inherit the Duchy of Cornwall. And then in turn, he wasn't going to inherit the Duchy of Lancaster like William. So Harry was provided for as being the, in the direct line of succession, but not inheriting the crown. So £8 million is rumoured to be what the amount is. And of course, that has grown in time since the Queen Mother's passing through shrewd investments because it's been held in trust. Anyway, William got his share when he was 40. Harry's coming up to his. So it most certainly will be a celebration on Sunday for the Duke of Sussex. I wonder if he's waiting up at midnight UK time to see his bank account swell. I bet he's up there just, constantly on the refresh. And you can imagine the monster of Montecito going, Harry, has the money come in yet? I want to get some... Well, my Meghan voice is turning into Cher. Harry, oh my goodness, am I going to be able to get some more dresses? Am I going to be able to get some more jewels? Ooh. Yes, you can just imagine it, can't you? Anyway, he spoke to the BBC ahead of his birthday, where he looked back on a turbulent 10 years and revealed how his two young children have given him a fresh perspective on life. Ooh, I wish that were true. I wish he did have a fresh perspective on life, because he would see that how being a father was so difficult for his father, Charles. Anyway, Harry said that while turning 30 has made him anxious, his young family meant he was filled with enthusiasm ahead of his milestone, as he pledged, whatever the age, my mission is to continue showing up and doing good in the world. Oh my God, help us. God help us. If what we've seen so far is his mission, showing up and doing good in the world, then I'd hate to see if he wasn't actually trying. He said of his children, becoming a father of two incredibly kind and funny kids has given me a fresh perspective on life. Again, I wish it had, Harry, as well as sharpening my focus in all of my work. So sharpening his focus on exploiting the royal family. Okay. Being a dad is one of life's greatest joys and has only made me driven and more committed to making this world a better place. Let's substitute that for it's only made me want to make even more money off the back of my family and exploit my friends. So he is going to be celebrating his birthday by jetting off with his inner circle. I wish he would jet off, maybe into outside space, in a similar move to his infamous Las Vegas trip in 2012. Oh, please bring back 2012, Prince Harry. I know he was a naughty rascal, but bring him back. Harry said he'd been anxious to turn 30 in 2014, a year after returning from Afghanistan, but he used his bad moment, as he described the period after returning from the war, to help him, to help him, I suppose. He turned 30 just a few months after breaking up with Cressida. We all remember the beautiful Cressida, before meeting Meghan 2 years later. Oh, my goodness. Maybe that was a moment that we'd like to go back in time and stop. Anyway, Harry told People magazine, the best gift I've ever been given is without doubt my kids. I enjoy watching them grow every single day and I love being their dad. And of course, People magazine is a publication that is affiliated with Harry and Meghan. So again, there is most definitely a bias on the table. Right, I'm going to go. Please let me know what you think. What will Harry be up to in Vegas? Do you think he'll be doing more strip poker? Ooh, let me know. What will he be doing to celebrate his birthday? And is Megsy baby going? I'm not quite sure if... No, I don't think she'll be going. I think it'll be a lad's trip with the remaining friends that he has left. It'll probably be all the arse-lickers, Nasho, all the ones that have got their heads firmly up his bottom. Maybe even Bryony will go. Does Bryony count as one of the lads? I don't know. Anyway, I'm off, my loves. I've got things to do. So thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to like, share, comment, all the rest of it. And I will see you next time. So until then, mwah to you all, my lovies. And goodbye.
No room for traitors in the House of Windsor. Ginger bottles popping off a major whinger. American Duchess got a lot to say. Like Wallace and Edward, keep them at bay. He's his mother. quelled that smoking